If you use the 2-minute rule, building habits is easy. I have a fat and lazy kid who is impossible to get to exercise. So every day when I come home from work, I don't ask him to exercise with me. I ask him to walk a lap around the block with me and tell me about his day. And after we walk the lap around the block, when we are about to walk in the house, almost always he says, "Let's not walk in yet, let's walk another lap." And we end up walking for 20 or 30 minutes. Because once his mind is active, his body is active, and he has shoes on, he wants to keep going. By inertia, a body that's moving will continue to move, and a fatty who is on the sofa will stay on the sofa. For people who understand the 2-minute rule, building habits is easy. For example, you never mean to read a book per month. That's a dumb idea, you won't do it. What you do is tell the lazy kid, "Let's read 2 pages together," and even if he doesn't want to, many times once he is 2 pages in, he wants to know what comes next and what happens after that. He becomes interested and ends up reading 20 minutes. And by the way, the fat and lazy kid is me. By nature, I am lazy, but I am smart. I use the 2-minute rule for everything. The 2-minute rule is based on this thought. Many times, motivation comes after taking action. Act to feel motivated instead of feeling motivated to act. But people do it all wrong. They want to become athletes, and they say, "My habit is going to be running 30 minutes per day," and then they come home tired after work, and they think about the 30 minutes they have to run, and their body says, "No way," and it takes them to the fridge for ice cream to watch TV. They are beginners. If you want someone who is fat and lazy to exercise, you don't tell him, "Let's run for 30 minutes. You tell him, "Let's go for a walk around the block and talk." And once he has walked around the block, he might want to keep going. If you want someone who never reads to read a book, you don't say, "Read a book," you say, "Let's read 2 pages," and 2 pages will probably turn to 20. The 2-minute rule is getting the big habit you want to build and breaking it in 2. It's small version which you can do in 2 minutes and then everything else. It works because doing something 2 minutes is easy and you aren't lazy to do it. But once you start, inertia will many times keep you going, because a moving body tends to keep on moving. You want a lazy person to wash a pile of dishes? Don't be dumb and say, "Wash all those dishes." Say, "Put on some music and wash dishes for 2 minutes." Because he gets into a rhythm and starts dancing while washing dishes, it is more likely he finishes. Now, the 2-minute rules doesn't work for most people because there's something they do wrong. This rule has a contract, and the first thing people do is break it. The contract states that if after 2 minutes you don't want to keep going, if the lazy person inside you says to go back home after walking around the block, you go back inside because you already came through with the habit. What people do is they force people to go beyond the 2 minutes, thus breaking the contract. And then the next day, when they say just 1 lap around the block, they don't believe themselves because they know they are not going to respect the 2-minute contract. It is recommended that the first 2 weeks you only do 2 minutes, that you only walk once around the block. That way you learn to respect the contract. The point of the 2-minute rule is that the majority of times you are going to want to keep going, but in the days in which you don't want to keep going, just don't. That's the trick. Rules and tricks, such as the 2-minute rule, will help you have a better body, have an improved financial life, and a better sleeping cycle. Changing a few key habits leads to an improved life.